Something quietly changes the moment you stop chasing someone. For so long, you were the one sending the messages first, trying to explain yourself, trying to fix every misunderstanding, trying to prove that you cared. You gave attention, effort, and emotional energy to someone who slowly became used to it. They became comfortable knowing that no matter how distant they acted, you would still be there trying to close the gap. But one day, something inside you shifted. Not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. You stopped double texting, stopped over-explaining, and stopped begging for the same energy you were giving. And the moment you pulled your energy back, the entire dynamic began to change. At first, they thought it was temporary. They believed you would come back the way you always did because that's what they were used to. But this time, the silence stayed. Your messages became shorter, your reactions calmer, and your presence less predictable. And that's when their minds started noticing the difference. Human psychology is deeply wired to recognize emotional availability, so when someone who once gave constant attention suddenly becomes quiet and distant, the brain begins searching for answers. Questions start appearing in their mind. Why aren't they reacting? Why aren't they asking about me anymore? Did I lose their interest? The curiosity slowly grows into confusion, and confusion slowly grows into anxiety. Because control feels comfortable until the moment it disappears. When you were chasing them, they felt secure knowing they had your attention whenever they wanted it. But when you stopped chasing, the balance of power shifted. Suddenly, they became the uncertain one. They began replaying old conversations in their mind, remembering moments when you cared deeply and they didn't value it enough. Your silence became louder than any argument ever could. Instead of emotional messages, they were left alone with their thoughts, and in that quiet space, realization slowly begins to form. Psychologists often explain that the human brain places more value on things that feel scarce. When something becomes less available, it suddenly appears more important. This is why the moment you stop chasing someone, they start feeling the possibility of losing you, and that possibility can create powerful emotional reactions. Inside them, a quiet battle begins between the ego and the heart. The ego tells them to stay composed and not reach out first, but the heart feels the distance growing. The ego wants control, but the heart wants connection. And when you stop chasing, the ego loses the comfort it once had. Now they start wondering if someone else might be giving you the attention they once ignored. Even the idea of that possibility can create jealousy and insecurity. They check your social media, analyze your tone, and try to understand your calm behavior because calmness from someone who once fought for the relationship feels confusing and even threatening. Slowly, panic turns into realization. They begin to understand that you were never chasing because you were weak or desperate. You were chasing because you cared. There is a huge difference between someone begging for attention and someone choosing to love deeply. When your energy becomes peaceful and self-focused, your value becomes clearer than ever before. People often fail to appreciate consistency until it disappears. The effort you gave once felt normal to them, but the moment it's gone, they start recognizing how rare it actually was. Your messages, your presence, your reassurance, all the little things that once surrounded them begin to feel like something they took for granted. And that realization can be overwhelming because nothing unsettles a person more than losing access to someone who once gave them unconditional attention. What truly makes them lose control is the fact that you are no longer reacting emotionally. You are not arguing, not begging, not trying to convince them to stay. You are simply calm. And calm confidence is powerful because it shows that your happiness no longer depends on their behavior. Now, they begin asking themselves difficult questions. Did I push them too far? Did I lose someone who truly cared about me? Did I ignore something valuable until it disappeared? The fear of permanent loss feels very different from temporary distance. When someone threatens to leave, people often believe they still have time to fix things. But when someone quietly stops chasing without drama, it feels final, and that feeling can be deeply unsettling. But the most important truth is this: you didn't stop chasing because you stopped loving. You stopped chasing because you started loving yourself more. You realized that your energy deserves to be valued, not taken for granted. And that realization changes everything. Sometimes life is not about making someone else see your worth. Sometimes the real lesson is about you, finally recognizing it yourself. When you stop abandoning your own value just to keep someone close, you gain something much more powerful than their attention. You gain peace. And once someone experiences real peace, they no longer feel the need to chase people who aren't willing to meet them halfway. If that person eventually comes back, it will not be because you begged for their attention, but because they finally understood the value of what they lost. And if they never come back, you will still have something even more important than their presence: your self-respect, your growth, and the quiet strength that comes from knowing you chose yourself when it mattered the most. Because the moment you stop chasing someone who cannot value your love, you begin stepping into a stronger version of yourself, and that quiet transformation is the real power behind the words, "You stopped chasing."